go live. And then
I showered for this.
hey, looking good. Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody, present and future, watching the YouTube video. Thanks for joining. I guess the pre-show, we're just getting set up here. You see a lot of people on the Zoom here. We're gonna have a good time. So I'll wait to introduce everyone here on the actual show. But yeah, rare night of no hockey for a while. So something new for us. Okay, let me start the recording. So there, and record this. All right, recording in progress. I think some lady just told you that. Okay, all right. So, let me make sure I'm actually recording the right microphone. Sorry, I just do like a million just double checks. Testing. Oh, okay. So I sound good, I assume? Oh, okay. All right. Let's do it. Yes. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Keeping Karlsson Fantasy Hockey Podcast, the longest running fantasy hockey podcast in the world, hosted by a guy who's going to take a risk tonight and do a podcast with his wife, critiquing her choices. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm your host, Elon Dubrovsky, and we've got a special bonus episode of Keeping Karlsson here today because we are doing the Keeping Karlsson Playoff Pool Round 3 draft. There's 32 people who have made it through the gauntlet of the first two rounds. We started with 240. We're down to the final 32. 8 leagues of 4 people each, and one of those leagues, R3 D1 to be specific, are here with us live to do a live draft of just the third round of the pool. So we're not going to be having to worry about trying to predict who's going to make it to the finals. We're just drafting for these two series of Dallas versus Vegas and Florida versus Carolina. It took me a second to even remember who's playing. It's not the teams that anyone was expecting. I think a lot of us were making our brackets going into the playoffs, and there was a lot of Toronto and Colorado and Tampa and Edmonton. They're all gone. Here's we have all Southern American teams. Anyways, I'll stop blabbing for a minute. I'm here without Brian here, but that's okay. I think we could do this because I've got a great group of obviously much better than me playoff predictors because I was eliminated in round 1. How about actually we can just start the draft and then I could introduce people as we pick just so that we can go. But to get started, we've got Tyler Hickey here who has the first pick. And by the way, Tyler has earned the first pick in every round because he had the best performance of everyone here in the previous round. And that's kind of how it goes. Well, actually, technically, Dina had more points, but she wasn't a winner. She came second in her division. So the first placers, and Tyler had the most points in Division 11 of round 2. So Tyler, welcome to Keeping Karlsson. I'm really excited to see who you're going to choose. It's not as easy as the previous rounds. There's no just McDavid, let's move on. I feel like there's a lot of interesting options you can go from here. But first of all, why don't you just say hello, tell us where you're drafting from and what's been your journey through the KKPP. We know you ranked first in the second round, but where also did you rank in the first round?
First round, I think I was also first. I guess. Yeah, I had the luxury of picking first overall, I guess, in both previous rounds, and I mean, easy to go McDavid, obviously, and then kind of got some luck with Rupe Hinsk in the later rounds. So I guess I rode those couple to the, till here. I guess.
Yeah, Hintz has been incredible. Are you going to keep riding Hintz? Yeah. That's the interesting question. Are you going to go up with someone else?
How about we just wait and find out, huh? Or are we going to draft out? I don't know.
Yeah, so it's your pick. I'm ready to hear it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I got to go with Rupe Hintz. He's just been unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm
not the guy who will last, but he's got the most points left over other than McDavid. So,
I mean, yeah, hard to argue with just going with who has the most points so far in the playoffs. And Hintz, has just been incredible. Especially in that series against Seattle. Holy cow, he had that a 2-goal and 1-assist game. He scored a goal, in the final game in Game 7 there to help clinch the win. He's just really turned it on. Part of that amazing top line. And yeah, definitely can't argue with Rope Hintz being first off the board here. Okay, so then that is how oh, I should also mention a few details about this draft. We're all picking 10 players. Well, I say we all as if I earned my way here, not me, but these fine competitors are each going to pick 10 or have 10 picks. They have to do 7 skaters, 2 defense, and then a team. And it's just points only, so just goals and assists. So I should say 6 forwards. This is like my league. 6 forwards, 1 skater, which could be a forward or defense, 2 defense, and then a team, and you get 1 point for a win and 1 point for a shutout for your team that you pick. Okay, let's go to the second overall pick here. And we have got Christian, who came first in R2D1, but the reason why he has second pick is he only had a paltry 47 points compared to Tyler's 50 points. So a secondary winner, but still something that most of us could only have dreamed of going into the first or second round. And I see you've actually already put your pick into the UI here, but Christian, why don't you tell us about who you're going with?
Yeah, so I'm going with Matthew Tkachuk here. Maybe to add a little drama into this, I had Tkachuk at number 1 on my board, so I'm very happy to have him at number 2. So
yeah, Tkachuk. I wonder if Leaf fans now, like, do they hate Matthew Tkachuk or do they just like respect Matthew Tkachuk? I'm not sure, but he was like obviously a huge part of that win. 25 minutes of ice time in game 6 or game 5. We wish game 6. Yeah, in game 5 to clinch it for Florida. And Christian, by the way, I didn't mention you're drafting from Ottawa, my previous hometown where Brian is. Some of the Patriots are going to be having a meetup in Ottawa potentially later this week. Sorry, I won't be able to make it. Tyler's in Rochester. He's telling us before the show. And okay, so I don't know why I'm just giving that quick geography lesson, but okay, next up, we have my wife, Dina Tserlin, who, to give the background here, we put out the call, the registration form for people to play in the KKPP. And as it goes with any league we ever manage, we sent out all the invites. We added everyone to their Discord channel, told them to join your league by a certain time because the draft's about to start. And obviously we had a couple people who missed the deadline, didn't join, so had to scramble and find someone to fill the spots. I was like, Dina, take a team. It's fun. It's a slow draft. And here she is in round 3. So Dina, how have you enjoyed? Is this your first ever hockey pool?
It is, yes. And
yeah,
how
are you liking it?
I love winning.
How have you done it?
Lots of like going with my gut, which is an advice you gave me. You're like, just go with your gut. And, I did. So
yeah, especially for playoffs, it's so hard to predict. And I know that you went with your gut in the last round because you had 3rd overall pick. It was McDavid and Draisaitl off the board, and you messaged me asking who should I go with, and I was like, I'd probably go with like Matthews or Marner, one of the Leafs. You went with your gut in another direction. You went with your team's namesake, Chuck E. Cheese, Matthew Tkachuk. He was great for you, but now he's not available to you. So are you tilting a little?
Heartbroken. Tkachuk is my boy. Like I named my team after him. I wanted him so bad, but he was snatched as he should. So I'm gonna go with my second boy, Eichel.
Okay, Jack Eichel coming off the board, 3rd overall. I think he was also the next like highest scorer so far in the playoffs. Another guy like Hintz who just like really came alive, especially in that second round. Here, I can make the pick for you, Dina.
Oh, I
Jack
made it.
Eichel. Oh, you did? No, I did. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I pressed on Q.
It's in there. He's there now. He's on your team. It's officially, you have Jack Eichel. And yeah, then in the round 1 against Winnipeg, he was fine. He had that 1 3-point game, but in this last round, though, 2 3-point games to help Vegas stun the Edmonton Oilers. Dina, also, by the way, you were calling it that Vegas was going to beat Edmonton. What was the reason for that?
Yes. Okay. Maybe this is too much table talk and whatnot, but like, I think Vegas is going to take it all. So mark my words and don't go back if it's wrong. But
you keep saying that, but like, can you answer why? Like any reason?
Again, my gut is strong.
Okay.
Just, it carried a child and now it has like some extra instincts that I'm leaning into.
Okay. I didn't know that the child is in the gut, but I guess you probably know more about
Close
it than
enough.
me. All right. So now the 4th pick, but definitely a worthy competitor because only the top 2 in every division in round 2 made it forward. And now we've got Daniel, who also had 47 points, same number of points as Christian did. But just like with Dina, who had 51 points, It was a harder division, I guess, to come in first. And of course, Uncle Kachuk is in another division now, and maybe you'll meet up with him again, Daniel, later on. But for now, here you are after coming in second place in R2D8. How are you feeling right now? How have you gotten here? I didn't even ask. I'm curious. Is anyone here ranked really low in one of the rounds? Daniel, what was your lowest ranking? I guess you were second. Obviously, how did you do in round
I think
one?
I finished second or third in the first round, picking third.
Nice.
So I picked third and second.
All right, now you've got a fourth. This is your worst.
This is my worst one, and I figured got to go with Robertson because he was one of my main guys on what my actual regular season fantasy league I'm in. And
how'd you do?
I won it.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually 3 of the 4 guys that are going to be drafted in the first round here were on my team. So yeah, I had a good team. So yeah, just go with Robertson. He's struggling a little. Hopefully he can turn it around in this playoffs in this third round.
I mean, he struggled a little bit. He still has like 12 points in the playoffs so far. So he's like,
it's not his regular season though. That's for sure.
Well, for sure. So he has 12 points in 13 games in the playoffs. He had 109 points in the regular season, a real break. I guess like a breakout. He was also like over a point per game in his second season a couple years ago. But yeah, Robertson, if you're going to bet on anyone to bounce back, he's a good one. So that's 2/3 now of that Dallas top line taken. We got a Flame, and then we've got a Golden Knight. And now we go to Tyler. Are you going to complete the set of that Dallas top line, or are you going somewhere else? Tyler is up. I'll make an edit point, by the way. If anyone's worried that like the show's not going to have dead air. Not on my watch. But is Tyler here?
Yep. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries.
Just looking through the list. I guess kind of got lucky. Pavelski came back last year and took a risk on him. Or last series and took a risk on him, drafting him. So I'm going to have to go with him.
All right, so you did complete the set. Yeah, Pavelski is someone who I'm assuming you didn't have to take him so early in the last round, right? You probably got him at a slight discount.
No, I think it was my second to last pick. Everybody was worried about him coming back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, right. He had that injury. But anyways, he scored in 4 of the 7 games. No, well, he scored in 5 of the 7 games, and one of them he scored 4 goals. So he was like a huge part of Dallas's win, mostly on the power play. It's killer. Joe Pavelski, 38 years old. Dina, he's almost like almost my age. He's my brother's age. Imagine Joel out there doing what Joe Pavelski's doing.
Time to pivot to your new career now.
I think so.
Inspired.
Yeah. I need to learn how to stop after skating fast, and then I feel like after that things will start going well.
No, Ian, actually, it's so sad. He's like the most injury-prone person. Like, it's very alarming.
Okay, so I'm not allowed to go and play sports. I'll just analyze the stats. I don't even watch the games. I just watch the game logs because it's too dangerous to actually watch hockey. Okay, so we're back to Christian, who's up now for the second pick. Matthew Tkachuk was who you took first. Where are you looking now?
I'm taking Sebastian Aho here.
The last team that hasn't been taken, I guess. So now every team has someone off the board. Aho's had a good playoffs, 10 points in 11 games, like a very Aho-esque. Like he's just keeping up what he does. Like in the regular season, he had like 67 points and 75. He's like right under a point per game. That's kind of his thing, or like hovers right around there. I think it's like a solid pick. Like it'll be surprising if Aho has like a 5-point game like Pavelski's. Although he could do it for sure, but I think he's going to get you probably something every game. And against Florida, it's so hard to say. Like, what is Florida? What's Sergei Bobrovsky? Is he a good goalie? Is he a bad goalie?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I find Carolina, they're an interesting team because they have such distributed scoring amongst the roster, and yet they're the highest scoring team in the playoffs so far. So
true.
Don't really know. So I figure, well, you're safe with at least Aho.
Yeah, and it's especially impressive considering in the first round they played the Islanders, who everyone expects to be the most defensive team. Obviously, New Jersey, not so much. At least in that series, they really kind of destroyed the Devils there. Maybe better luck next year for the Devils. They're going to be good soon. But yeah, so Aho is taken. Let's see if Dina's going to go now for one of Aho's line mates, going to one of these other 3 teams. Where are you thinking, Dina?
Well, I think I'm going to go with Stone.
Okay. I didn't know anyone like made that emphasis when they're talking about Mark Stone, but yeah, go with Stone, who I guess doesn't play with Eichel at even strength, but definitely with him over there on the power play. And I think we're at a point now where if someone score, like whenever you see Vegas score, you're probably going to be having a pretty decent chance that you're going to have gotten in on it, because Stone and Eichel are like, as well. Marchessault actually also was insane in especially in the last game. He's playing with Eichel. Sorry for the table talk, everyone. I think we all know here, as people who all have like made it to round 3 of the KKPP. I don't think you're going to be like, oh, don't mention Marchessault. But yeah, Stone came, like, Dina, I don't know if you know this, Mark Stone was injured for like most of the season.
Oh my God, do not talk to me about injuries, because I barely just made it through like the first round because I had Eck. Yeah. And I named my team after him, Total Eclipse of the Heart, because he really effed me up. People were talking about how he's gonna have this magical recovery, and I should not have listened.
He was like at practice, like he did come back and played like a shift, and then after that he then was injured for the rest of the playoffs. So
yeah, I'd much rather that he didn't.
Well, sure, but hey, you made it through. Lesson learned. Mark Stone was injured for most of the season, but came back to start the playoffs. Had like 3 points in his first game against the Jets and hasn't slowed down too much. He only has 1 point in his last 3 games, but before that he was getting a point in every single game. So obviously a huge part of Vegas's run here. And hopefully, I guess you're going all in on Vegas. You got Eichel and Mark Stone to start this off.
I'm telling you, my prediction, we'll see if it's right. I'm hoping it's also the anti-Eck. So just going strong and injury free. Thank you.
Hopefully they're not too good though. What if it's a sweep? What if they're like too amazing and then you don't get too many games? But okay, we're over to Daniel here to close out the second round. Still no defenseman taken. By the way, everyone's going to need to end up with 2D at some point. Daniel, are you going to finally break the seal there on defense, or do you have someone else in mind?
No, I'm going another winger with Verhaeghe. Just figured, he's been very consistent. He's got a lot of, I think it's only like 3 or 4 games where he hasn't gotten a point. Something like that. Yeah. So, it's always nice, even if it's not like a 2 or 3 point night, just getting that one every night is just solid and always helps.
Yeah, like this is like table talk, but again, I think I'm hosting a show here, so I kind of got it. But like, who would have ever predicted going into the season or going even into the playoffs that we'd be doing a playoff pool draft and Verhaeghe would be taken ahead of Barkov? Like usually you're just like excited to get the guy playing with Barkov. Oh, it's Verhaeghe. But yeah, you look at the stats and Carter Verhaeghe, like you say, has been so consistent, so amazing. He played 25 minutes in the last game also against the Leafs. So Florida was just leaning on their, I mean, the game did go to overtime, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, so yeah, Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Duclair in that top line. It's been working out well. And Verhaeghe, I don't know. I'll be interested to follow up on that and see who of the. But the thing is, like, I want to say, like, oh, but like Verhaeghe hasn't been on the top power play, but he has gotten some power play time, like with Matthew Tkachuk. So anyway, yeah, that's definitely. Going I think with the
Florida kind of runs a like split, like they very even split on their 2. They don't load the first one, so it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, I'm checking here on Frozen Tools here. You can see the percent of power play time. So he's gotten like around 20% in most of the games. There was one game where he had 50. But anyway, all right. So Verhaeghe off the board. We're going to start round 3 now. We're back to Tyler. Tyler, what are your thoughts here? Or have you been sniped at all, or did you have someone in mind that you were hoping to get that's still there?
Not sniped. I have a feeling I'm snipe somebody from somebody else. Go Jonathan Marchessault. Hero makes the hat trick. Michael's a line mate there, so seems like a good bet.
Yeah, I mean, you won your league by 7 points, so you had a pretty hand. But like going into the last couple of games, like you got 6 points from Marchessault in just those last 2 games. So I'm imagining it was a lot closer before he like helped you run away with it. So, oh wait, you didn't have. I'm assuming you had Marchessault. Actually, that's stupid. I don't know. Well, if you had, but did you have Marchessault?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I was just leaning on Pavelski and Hintz a lot in the last round.
But yeah, but Marchessault definitely, 3 goals in the game 7 there, and 3 assists in the game 6 to help Vegas come back from that 3-2 deficit, win the series. So now that's the third Vegas Golden Knight off the board. So Dina's probably really disappointed that she can't jump on Marchessault. He's been playing, but hey, if Marchessault gets points, probably Eichel's going to be right there with him. And then of course they're together on the top power play with Mark Stone, and then a couple of people who haven't been drafted yet. All right, so Stone off the board. We're going back to Christian for his third pick. Still no D taken. I wonder when that's going to happen.
Not happening right now. I'll take Barkov.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Barkov, we couldn't have waited too much longer. I know he's been like, it's not even been like the most exciting. Like last season, if we recall, he had like 88 points in 67 games, like pacing for like 100 points if he didn't get hurt all the time. Of course, that's becoming a concern with Barkov. That back of his this season, not as good, but still pretty good. 78 points in a similar number of games, with 10 fewer points. And then in the playoffs, he's been like, 9 points in 12 games. Not Barkov-esque, but we know that he has the ability, assuming he's healthy.
Yeah. I find when in any of these drafts, like you can get really caught up in like, the recent stats or like deployment and stuff. But sometimes you just have to be like, who's the best player left?
Yeah.
And I think Barkov's by far the best player on the board right now. So
I think so too. And I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if it turns out after it's all said and done that he's like, oh, he was playing with like broken ribs and like shin, like his shin was in a million pieces. Like Barkov wouldn't stop playing. So out of curiosity, Christian, just to get some competitiveness going, if you had Barkov and Verhaeghe available at this pick, who would you have gone with?
I would have been tight. I'm looking at my board that I prepared earlier, and I had Verhaeghe ahead.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not sure. I may have had some last second reconsideration while we were at that point.
I mean, I'm like such a sucker for like whatever top power play. Like better than I lost in the first round. So okay, so Dina. Over to you. You've got 2 Golden Knights. Are you going to keep it going, or are you going to spread yourself out a little bit?
I'm going to pivot all the way to D.
Oh boy.
I think it's time. I think it's time to get some defense going on my team.
Wins championships.
That's it. So they say. I'm going to go with Montour.
I like these the way you've announced the players here. Okay, Brandon Montour. Another guy that's like going into the season, if you would have told people like, yeah, by the way, Montour is going to be taken ahead of Ekblad by a lot in like, I'm sure maybe anyways. Yeah, Ekblad I'm sure will get taken at some point, but no one's thinking of Ekblad right now because Montour is totally taken over as the top D there in Florida. He's had a great playoffs, 9 points in 12 games. Actually quiet for the last 4 games versus Toronto, but not for a lack of opportunity. Like 29, 25 minutes per game, lots of power play, following up his incredible regular season rate, 73 points. Brandon Montour. I still remember when he was on Anaheim and Brian and I would talk about him on the show. Like, I think he could be good. Like, then he would get some power play and be like, oh, maybe people should like grab Montour. And then he went to like Buffalo and it just sort of like became a nobody. Then he went to, I don't know. Anyways, all of a sudden, Brandon Montour goes to Florida, and Florida does this, right? They know how to take guys and make them into names. Like, just look at Carter Verhaeghe, who's been taken off the board. All right, so the first D off the board, and we're back to Daniel, who's got Robertson, Verhaeghe, and who's going to be your third to finish off round 3 here?
Well, I'm going to keep the D train going, and I'm going to grab a number PP1 QB, and who has been close to a point per game in a Stanley Cup run before, in Miro Heiskanen.
Yeah, as soon as you said D, gotta assume it's going to be Heiskanen. I wonder, did you say it like the proper way? Because that sounded like very authentic.
I don't know. I just said it.
I liked it.
Heiskanen.
Heiskanen. I'm going to say Heiskanen and sound like just a total hick or whatever. Oh, hick, by the way, Tyler's nickname on Discord. But Heiskanen, what a season for him. 73 points in 79 games. That playoff run that he had led to everyone like drafting him so high in leagues the next year. And he was kind of like a disappointment. Like he was only like a 40-ish point guy, if I recall. And, but yeah, this season he like finally had his big like regular season breakout with Klingberg out of the picture. And then he's followed up with a great playoff so far. And yeah, there's only 4 top power play defensemen available in this draft. And so 2 of them are gone. Let's see if Tyler's going to keep the D run going. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Might as well and go with Brett Burns on the savvy vet.
Yeah. Another oldie. So Pavelski's 38. How old is Brent Burns? He's not 38 yet, right? He's a little bit younger.
He's
also,
06 draft, so 3 years younger.
Oh no, I'm seeing he's 38 actually.
Oh, is he? Was he 03?
No, he's a 03 draft. Yeah. Oh, you think of it in terms of the draft year, yeah, with the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, so Burns and Pavelski are our 2 guys who make me feel like I'm not that old in this draft.
Do I get a senior citizen discount on this league or what?
Yeah, well, I guess I feel like these older players, like, they're just gonna go so hard. I guess they'll all go so hard, right? But it's like this is like their, potentially their last chance. It's like nothing's gonna keep them out of these games. And Burns really has had like no competition for the power play, really, even with Gostisbehere coming in. So Burns like had that great regular season, 61 points, up to now in the playoffs, 8 points in 11 games. He scored in the last 2 versus New Jersey. Dina, you had Burns, and he did well for you, but you're not going to get him this time. So that's 3D in a row. We're back to Christian here, the only person without a defenseman. You've got Tkachuk, Aho, and Barkov. What's the plan?
Not getting a D this time. I'm getting Martin Necas.
Okay, Necas off the board. So he probably the first sort of like pick that doesn't follow pretty closely to like the total playoff points so far. Like he's had a bit of a disappointing playoffs, right? Only 6 points in 11 games, though. He had a very good second round. It was he was very quiet against the Islanders, but he had that 2-goal game and also another game with a goal against the Devils. Not too many games. That series went by quick. And Necas had that great regular season. He's still been getting great deployment. Were you concerned at all about his lack of production in the playoffs compared to the regular season? Or I guess you're just like what you said before. You want to go with the guy who you think is just the best overall.
Yeah, good players, and I like Carolina as a team. And if it ends up being a bad pick, no one will remember me. If it's a good pick, I'll look like a genius. So
smart. That's how you do it. Yeah, Necas, he's been on the top power play with Aho, Burns.
Power play. Don't like looking at his 5-on-5 deployment though. He's on line with this Jack Drury guy.
Yeah.
Whoever knows who that is, but so that's a little concerning, but I'll take the risk.
Yeah, and things could always change depending on how, things could get shaken up pretty quickly in Carolina, as they always do. Jack Drury, come on, man, 2018, 42nd overall pick. You don't know him? Not familiar? Okay, well.
I thought he might be Chris Drury's son, but then I Googled it and he's not, so.
Oh, okay. Any relation to any, I feel like there's another Drury. Didn't the Sens have a Drury? Anyways, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. I need Brian on the show for any Sens trivia. But okay, Dina, over to you. You've got Eichel, Stone, Brandon Montour. Where are you planning to go next?
Okay, I feel like I can't keep riding the Vegas train, even though it's just too risky, even though I kind of want to, but I'm not going to. Okay. I'm going to pivot away from my winner pick. I'm going to just round off my D just so I don't have to worry about it. So plenty of good, forwards going. So I'm just going to go with, someone you kind of shat on earlier on the show, or not really, but anyways, Ekblad.
Oh, okay. I mean, Ekblad had a really good last season, and then Montour has taken over. But I guess now you sort of have your insurance here. You've got Montour, and then if for some reason he falls out of favor, then Ekblad would be obviously next in line. Ekblad, very good second round, by the way, similar to Necas, where he was totally quiet in the series against Boston, but then 5 points in 5 games in the series against Toronto. So you've got your D covered. You've got the whole Florida defense situation on lock. You got 2 forwards from Vegas, 2 D from Florida. And now we go to Daniel to finish off round 4. He's riding a team here of Robertson, Verhaeghe, and Heiskanen, or Heiskanen.
And for this pick, I'm going to go a little down the board and get a guy that I've always liked and I really enjoy watching him play. So that's always a plus when you draft him. Sam Bennett.
Okay.
Never bad to have Tkachuk's line mate. So, and he is one of those guys that steps it up in the playoffs. And I feel him being in the third round, just it could have that potential there.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember when Bennett first came to Florida and he just exploded like at the end of that 2020-21 season. And then, yeah, the last couple of years he's been okay. Like this year he had 40 points in 63 games. And in the playoffs so far, 8 points in 11 games. Kind of quiet for the last 4 games versus Toronto, but really started strong. Was a big part of the win over the Bruins. So Sam Bennett is off the board now. Like you said, so I guess do we have the whole Florida top power play taken out? Let me bring this up here. Barkov, Bennett, Tkachuk, Montour. Oh, we still have one more forward. I won't even say the name. I'm sure
it's going to be going away right now.
All right, let's go, Tyler.
I'm going to take the better Sam and Sabres legend, Samson Reinhart.
Okay. Another fun,
finish off that power play unit.
I like how Daniel sort of has taken 2 Florida players where there could have been a question about which one, like he took for Hagee. And then, you could have also taken Barkov there. No one would have, been surprised. Now Bennett, you could have taken Reinhart. So it'll be fun to see how these Florida picks turn out. Sam Reinhart, 2nd overall in 2014. Sam Bennett, 4th overall, 2014. Now on the same team with Dina. By the way, you have 1st overall in 2014 in Aaron Ekblad. So I don't know, fun fact or not. But yeah, Reinhart is on that top power play. At even strength, I guess Florida's kind of like all over the place, and sometimes Reinhart ends up being stuck playing with kind of the dregs. But in the playoffs so far, it's been Reinhart, Lundell and Luosterainen. So I guess you'd call that the third line, because if you're going to call Barkov and Tkachuk as the top 2 lines. So anyhow, Reinhart off the board. I wonder if it's going to be a while now till we get another Panther taken. But we have Christian, who has a lot of good players still on non-Florida Panthers teams. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, I'm taking Shea Theodore. I'm getting my first D.
All right. Oh, yeah, you hadn't had a D yet. So now we have 5D off the board. You've got Theodore, and Theodore has 5 points in 10 games. So another guy that maybe hasn't blown the roof off, had a solid enough regular season when he was healthy, which was not for too much of the season. Why Theodore over potential other options on the same team? Is it because you're mad as an Oilers fan?
No. Well, I mean, I look at the regular season scoring was a lot higher, at least in terms of the rate. And at least according to Daily Faceoff, he's been on top power play with Stevenson and Stone and Eichel. So, I'm just more comfortable with that deployment.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it seems to go back and forth. I'm looking at the regular season deployment, the power play was back and forth. But yeah, the playoffs started and it was Pietrangelo on PP1 against Winnipeg, but then it looks like Theodore started taking over in the second round. And it worked out. Well, he actually didn't have any power play points, but he did have a couple assists in the final 3 games versus the Oilers. So, okay, we're now over to Dina to recap here. You've got Eichel, Stone, and then Montour, Ekblad. So are you going to start a new team where you're going to take 2 guys from in a row?
Maybe.
We'll see.
Because, my next pick is my boy who I've had in my previous league, or is it division or whatnot. It's Jarvis.
Seth Jarvis. He's been playing with Aho. He's so young still. I feel like Jarvis, it almost kind of feels like he's been around a while, but this is only his 2nd season. He played 82 games, only had 39 points, which was, I guess, a bit of a disappointment, but nice playoff so far, 8 points in 11 games. And obviously, big part of this Hurricanes team. He's another 1st round pick here, taken 13th overall a couple years back for the fun trivia to share at dinner parties. All right, so Jarvis off the board. Daniel, you're up to finish off round 5.
Yeah, and for this pick, I'm going to circle back to a guy that was big for me in the last round, and he, getting running time with Marchessault and Eichel in Barbashev.
Yeah, I mean, Barbashev is one of these guys also switch teams and a whole new opportunity. He kind of reminds me of Lehkonen from last year. Does he really just need an opportunity to play with some good players?
Just Yeah, well, he's a third stringer on with good players. He's just one of those guys that forechecks and can finish his chances, which is exactly what Lehkonen is.
Yeah, and we don't count hits obviously in this pool, but for anyone, is Barbashev a free agent at the end of the year, or is he? Let me get the cap friendly open, because if he stays on Vegas next year, he could be a really nice steal in drafts in your multi-category leagues. Now that he's like getting this opportunity to play with like the top lines. I got it open here. Yeah. Oh no, he's a UFA, earning himself some money with his great playoffs. 9 points in 11 playoff games so far for Barbashev. So good for him. Good for you. Finishing off our 5th round. So I guess we're halfway done here. 5 rounds to go. Back to Tyler, who's rocking Hintz, Pavelski, Marchessault, Burns, and Sam Reinhart. Still got to fill another D. You still got to fill your team spot, and then 3 forwards. So which way are you going to start the second half of the draft?
Yeah, going back to the forward category and with Chandler Stevenson.
Tyler does this a lot to Daniel. It's a lot of like Daniel picks a player on a team and then Tyler takes another guy on the same team. It happened with Bennett to Reinhardt and now Barbashev to Stevenson. So yeah, if you look at the Golden Knights line combos in the last game, Eichel was with Barbashev and Marchessault, and then Stevenson was Stone and Howden. So it's like, do you want to have Eichel's assistant or Stone's? And Stevenson had that great first round, been a little quiet lately, but it seems like pretty good value here in the 6th round. All right. And Stevenson's been on the top power play, by the way. That finishes off the top power play, at least in the last game. Stone, Marchessault, Stevenson, Eichel, and Shea Theodore. And okay, so Christian, over to you. You've got Tkachuk, Aho, Barkov, Necas, Shea Theodore. Time for your 6th pick.
Taking Jamie Benn here.
Continuing with your trend of like guys who had incredible regular seasons.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe a big part of my philosophy. I guess every round so far is to kind of disregard, or not disregard, but downplay the playoff to date stats, because I don't know, I feel like they may be a bit volatile. Just go with the bigger data set from the regular season.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't even know. Did people actually? I don't think we actually like summarized at the end of the year. Like Jamie Benn ended the season with 78 points. Like,
yeah,
where did that come from? He hadn't had more than 50. Like he had 53 in 2018-19, and the year before that he had 79. But that was already like 5-6 years ago. So a total like resurgence at the age of 33. All like almost all from the power play, but 30 power play points. 30 of his 78 came on the power play. So Ben, obviously, you're not going to complain if you can get in the 6th round of a deep draft like this, get a 78-point guy. All right, Dina. So you've got Eichel, Stone, Montour, Ekblad, Jarvis. So if the pattern continues, you would go with another Carolina Hurricane. Is that what's happening?
No, because I don't like to be that predictable.
Right.
But I'm going to be predictable in a different way, where I'm going to draft someone from my previous pool.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Duclair.
Keeping the Panthers train now. You're going to be cheering for Vegas. We're going to be watching, I guess, both series. And I know who you're going to be cheering for here, Vegas and Florida.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, Duclair's been on that top line with Barkov. I guess with Barkov not being as exciting, that's also made Duclair like not as exciting as he's been in the past, though for Heg, he's been just fine. So yeah, it's a great 2 players to be playing with. And Duclair, by the way, Dina also, I don't know if you know this, Duclair also missed a lot of time in the regular season. He and Mark Stone, I don't even know who played more games, but they've both been healthy for the playoffs and have been pretty solid. So we'll see how this works out for you. And we now go to Daniel to finish off round 6.
And for here, just take a guy who used to be one of the best players in the league, but obviously due to age and injury, he's fallen off a bit, and Tyler Seguin. Just hoping, all you need is him set up. All you need him is set up in the OV spot on the power play, and you might get 3 or 4 goals in a series. So yeah, always good to take that risk.
All you need is Pavelski to get hurt. Like what happened in round 1, he went ham and then back to his regular spot. Not as great in round 2, but yeah, he still gets a lot of ice time. Or does he? Actually, looking at the game log here, I'm actually surprised to see. I just said sometimes you just say things and then you just hope that when you look at the numbers as you're saying it, it'll just be true. But Seguin played 14 minutes and a half in the last game, 13 minutes the game before. Seguin's had a really diminished role here as the playoffs have continued. I guess, yeah, he had elevated minutes when Pavelski was injured. But of course, I saw an interesting thing on Twitter today. Do you know Sagan was the highest paid player in the league this year? Like not in terms of AAV, but the way his contract
Actual
was structured.
salary, yeah.
He made $13 million this year, and he put up 50 points. So good to get that long-term contract when you can. And we'll see if Sagan helps Daniel make it to the finals of the KKPP. All right, round 7. Tyler's got Hintz, Pavelski, Marsh. So Burns, Reinhardt, Stevenson. Still needs a D. Still needs a goalie and 2 forwards.
I'm going to go back to the D with Paul Bunyan, Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah, I think. I was wondering when Pietrangelo will get taken. I'll be curious to see what other D go, and like if people think that, you know, it's similar. I kind of see a bit of a teardrop here after Pietrangelo. I guess I'll ask when the next week gets taken if people agree or not. But yeah, he's had a great playoffs so far. I guess he was off the top power play recently, as Christian pointed out, but still 7 points in 10 games, all assists. He did get suspended for a game, but it's all in the past. Now you've got your D locked in, Tyler. We go to Christian, who still needs another D, as well as a couple forwards and a goalie. No one's taking the goalies. It's the pro move, right? Like it's like the basic like amateurs take goalies early, but the people who are in round 3 of the KKPP, they know to just like save it to the end, because trying to predict which team is going to go far seems like it's been a fool's errand so far. But maybe Christian's now going to be like, F you, I got a team in mind right now. Is that what's happening?
No, I'm taking Max Domi.
Oh, and Dina with a big Pikachu face there, not happy. You got sniped. You're muted, but I could see the expression on your face. Dina, you're still muted, but you're like very expressive. You're still muted. I don't know. You have to actually click the unmute button. Yeah. Hello? Oh no, I can't hear you. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a technical issue.
It's like your microphone isn't working or something. She's unmuted on Zoom.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay, let me put an edit point here.
Hello?
Yeah. What happened?
I may have touched the mute button on the mic itself. I'm sorry.
Ah.
Okay, let me say this like for the 3rd time with extra gusto. Oh no. Every time I have someone, I get sniped. Every single time Christian has taken the person that I wanted to. So, except for the D.
Yeah.
So you've got ops here in this league.
It's between me and Christian. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Well, Domi, of course, was taken super high in round 2 because the NHL wasn't nice to us and gave us only 1 day to do the round 2 drafts between round 1 ending and round 2 starting. And so these drafts most of the drafts didn't complete after the first day of drafting. So it was like a slow draft. You know, people have jobs, have things going on. And so a lot of people waited until the next day, and Domi had that 3-point game to start off the series against Dallas. It was like such an obvious pick. Like, yeah, I'll just take the guy who already is going to give me 3 points in the bank. But Domi continued on with another 3-point game, a couple other games with assists. So it all comes down to like 8 points in the series against Seattle. So hard to argue with that pick. And he's a UFA like Barbashev. So playing for hopefully big money. Domi's, you know, a high pedigree guy back when he was drafted. And now the last couple of times he's been in free agency hasn't garnered too much excitement. Maybe that'll be different after this season. So Dina, you got sniped on Domi. Do you have backup plan?
Yeah, surprised he hasn't been taken yet. Riley Smith.
He's yeah. Why not? You love Vegas.
I'm all in on Vegas, so might as well keep it going.
Yeah, Riley Smith is just like one of those like just solid guys. Like, you know, he's always around. He gets good minutes. He plays. So let's see who he's been playing with. Smith has been with Carlson and Nicholas Roy. So I guess the 3rd line, kind of like when Reinhardt was taken. And it's like, you know, you got to have someone decent in the bottom 6, and that's been Riley Smith's job recently. But I mean, at one point playing with William Karlsson was like the top line in Vegas, but then they went ham getting all the great free agents and available players over the years. But yeah, so Riley Smith now off the board. He had a pretty decent season, 56 points in the playoffs. He's 8 points in 11 games. Like, he's been really good. So yeah, pretty nice value so late. He had a goal and assist in the big win over Edmonton to clinch. And okay, so that's now the end of the 7th round, except for one pick. So Daniel's gonna finish us off here and then we'll have 3 picks each left.
And I'm just going to go with Smith's running mate for so long. And Carlson, figured, might as well. Who have I've been looking at him since I've made my last pick. And you never know. Guy with a good shot. Anything can happen in a series. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And Jake Ottinger hasn't been as incredible as he was earlier in the season in the first round. So like Vegas might be able to score some goals here. William Karlsson scored a goal in that last game as well. Had an assist in the game before. The show is called Keeping Karlsson, so never hurts to get a Karlsson off the board, even if it's not the right Karlsson. He's not going to be available in any playoff pool drafts for a while, especially not a round 3 one. Okay, Tyler, over to you. So you've got your D all short up here, so you could go forwards for your next 2 picks if you want.
Or I can just take the first goalie tandem off the board with Carolina.
Is that the plan?
Yes. I hope it doesn't bite me like when I took the New Jersey in the 5th round last draft.
Yeah, well, now you learned your lesson, and you saw how badly that went for New Jersey at the hands of Carolina. So if you can't beat him, join him. Now you get to ride the Hurricanes against Florida. I guess you'll be hoping for a shutout to get you some extra points. But yeah, they've got no shutouts, but a solid 8 points, of course, from their 8 wins through 2 rounds of the playoffs. Are the Canes like the Vegas odd? Like if I were to look up just NHL Stanley Cup odds, is Carolina the team now that has the highest odds, or I guess lowest odds to win the whole thing?
I would assume they're probably second after Vegas, or even Dallas. I would probably give better odds.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing here.
But I think they have the best team defense, so
it's actually like such a close race. I'd be curious to see previous years. Yeah, I'm seeing just a site here with like a bunch of different betting sites. I promise this isn't going to be like watching a Leafs game in Ontario and every commercial they're just talking about betting all the time. But I do find it interesting just to look at the actual odds here. But yeah, it looks like the favorite is no, on most sites it's Carolina. Actually, I'm seeing one site is Carolina and Vegas both with the exact same odds. And then Dallas next, and then Florida seems to be the consensus like underdog, but at like not too far. Like you can't make too much money betting on Florida. So yeah, it's pretty even across the board. So okay, anyways, Carolina's off. We're back to Christian, who still needs a second defenseman, needs a goalie, and needs a forward. Which way are you going to go here?
I'm getting my forward. I'm taking Stefan Nason here.
Yeah, Nason, a guy.
not a super like interesting or exciting name, but he just has such good deployment right now. I can't resist.
No, I hear you. Like it's so weird. He's never had. Try to guess like the most points. Okay, over under. Well, it'll be obvious. Okay, his most points before this season, 27. He's been like, and that was like in 2017-18. He hasn't even played too many seasons actually. Like last year, he only played 2 games for the Canes. The year before, he played a game for the Leafs. The year before that, 5 games for San Jose. I'm like, oh no, that was the same year. He played 5 games for San Jose and a game for the Leafs. So he's been all over. And he's been a complete nobody. Yeah, now this year Canes like him up with Aho.
Yeah, he's part of the Bobby Ryan trade back in the day.
Oh, but he never played a game for the Sens.
No, he was the prospect throw in with the pick in Silverberg.
Oh,
he was a former first round pick.
I see.
Senders had 3 picks before Kucherov was taken and couldn't take him with any of them. I'm still mad about it.
Oh, and one of them was Stefan Nason.
One of the Stefan Nason, they traded up to take Matt Pumple. It still drives me crazy to this day.
Christian. What do you think of that pick they made? I even forget the guy's name already. Like it was like 2 drafts ago. They picked some guy.
Tyler Boucher.
Yeah. What's going on with him? Was that like 5th overall or something? Or like 10th?
It was like 10th, and he was ranked like 50th.
Yeah.
That's a real Pierre Dorion special. That one. I think he's like puttered about. He hasn't looked great since he's been drafted. So
yeah,
probably
I do remember
more 50 than a 10.
Some people were like ragging on the Sens for taking Brady Tkachuk, and he may have turned out to be like one of the top picks of the draft. So
well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. All right, Dina, over to you. What do you got? You've got your 2D. You locked that up after 4 rounds. You've got your 3 Vegas forwards in Eichel, Stone, and Riley Smith. Jarvis, Duclair, 2 Florida defensemen. What's the plan?
Okay, I gotta diversify my portfolio a little bit. I'm gonna go with a Dallas person.
Okay.
I'm taking the Donoff.
Ah, as a native Ruski, it took you a while to get your first Russian-born player.
Yeah, I mean, now it's not the popular
Well, you can't choose where you were born.
to be associated with, but he's good. So I'm just gonna stick to his hockey abilities. Hopefully, he didn't say anything shitty.
Not that I know of. I don't think he sat
Let's
out
keep
of
it that
any
way.
pride like ceremonies like a lot of his countrymen.
Few.
But or ceremonies, what do you call it? I don't know. What was it? The national okay. I'm gonna add a point there. I'm gonna talk about the pride ceremonies, an idiot. Okay. Yeah, Dodonov has had like a really solid playoffs, 9 points in 13 games, a really good acquisition. So Dallas like picked up Domi and Dodonov, and now they've made it far. So I think you got to give credit to their GM for like bolstering the team where they need it with some forward depth, and it's looked pretty well. As far as the lines have gone here, have we talked through? I feel like we just never talk about the Dallas lines. We got the first line, and then everyone else. But yeah, it's been Ben, Dodonov, and Wyatt Johnson who had that big goal in the last game, and then Sagan's been playing with Domi and Mason Marchment. Yeah, so solid pick here. Always when you're getting someone that's like 9 points at this late in the draft, you can't go wrong. Don't have a veteran that's going to get decent ice time. All right, so we're back to Daniel, and he still needs another defenseman at some point in these next 3 picks. Are you going to finish that off now?
Nope. As the 4th pick, I haven't much gotten to. I've had to wait for players that I've had higher on my list go and stuff. I'm going to have my number 1 ranked team basically because now and draft them, and because I'm all aboard the Bobrovsky train, so gotta go with probably the early favorite for the Conn Smythe based on what he's done, especially against Toronto.
Wow. I mean, I'm not saying wow that you took Florida. I'm saying wow because I just assumed it's like Matthew Tkachuk running away with the Conn Smythe if Florida wins it. But you are right.
I think Bobrovsky, he's done some stuff these playoffs. So
yeah. Well, we talked about how Tyler Seguin made a lot of money this year. Obviously, Bobrovsky did as well, much to the chagrin of most Florida fans for most of the year. But now he's earning that crazy contract with that series against the Leafs.
Well, yeah, and like you said, and I think it was the last episode, he can justify $10 million a year by getting that 1 cup.
Yeah,
he's always a champion after that. So
yeah, especially since with Spencer Knight not around. Like they've had to lean on Bobrovsky because Alex Lyon turned back into Alex Lyon, which is like no shade. Like, I mean, but you probably weren't going to expect him to lead them. So yeah, he was great. And so Florida's off the board, which leaves the 2 Western Conference teams. It's so hard to pick the teams for me. So I good on you for just putting your stake in the ground and calling Florida to win the cup here. All right, Tyler, 2 rounds to go. I guess you just 2 forwards, or I guess you could take a defenseman since we do have that skater spot. But you got your team and you got your 2D locked in.
No.
Nah.
Oh, my dog wants to get picks right now. So,
what's your dog's name?
Her name's Molly, and I'm gonna pick Jordan Martinook.
Martinook off the board. Another like Stefan Nason, like going into the year. It's like, how is this guy getting taken in the playoff pool? But of course, Martinook has gotten points in each of the last 5 games out of nowhere. Most of them multi-point games. It's been too incredible to not be taken. So if he could keep that up, that's like a steal here. But it'll be so shocking. 30 years old, an old man in hockey terms to be having a breakout. But okay. So now we go to Christian, who you took Nason over Martinook.
Yeah, I couldn't get myself to take Martinook as much as he's had a great playoffs. It's just, I don't know, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, but credit to Tyler for doing that. So I need a D. You mentioned how there was a bit of a tier gap after Pietrangelo was taken. I kind of agree. I kind of have the next a big hodgepodge of defensemen after this, so I kind of knew I would wait till the end of the draft to get my second D. I'm going to take Jacob Slavin. Just lots of ice time, get some points. Can't really go wrong.
Yeah, like he's going to be on the ice for a lot of goals, especially if your theory is correct. I guess, which is against like Daniel's theory that Bobrovsky's going to be a brick wall again. But assuming that Carolina continues to score a lot of goals, Slavin's gotten points in each of the last 4 games. And like you said, yeah, big minutes. Carolina does tend to just, spread that scoring around with their defensemen, like Pesci, Brady Shea. Like they all get points during different stretches of the season. It's okay. Slavin off the board. You've got your D. And we go to Dina, who has 2 picks left. One of them has to be a team. So you got to take the team now, or you can wait, take the team next. What's the plan?
Hi, sorry, I think my headphones are acting up.
Did you hear me at all? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, can you repeat what you said?
I just said you could take a team now, or you could take a team on your next pick.
I'm going to leave best for last and pick a team then, or I guess have the default, depending on how it goes. I'm going to go with Kotkaniemi.
All right, another Carolina guy going off the board. So yeah, you do have your pairs. You got now Jarvis and Kotkaniemi going together.
It's double trouble.
How old is Kotkaniemi now? He was like so young just forever.
He looks like a baby in this picture.
Yeah, he's 22 now. And he had a decent enough season, 43 points, his best year so far in the regular season, and in the playoffs, 6 points in 11 games, over a point per game, got a point in each of the last couple games against New Jersey. Did we mention his line already? I feel like we mentioned some lines. It's been Aho, Jarvis, and Nason, and then Kotkaniemi's been with Martinook, who's just been going crazy, and Jesper Fast. And then, yeah, Kotkaniemi also gets a little bit of secondary power play time. So, yeah, solid pick here to end Dina's skater core. You end up with Eichel, Stone, Montour, Ekblad, Jarvis, Duclair, Riley Smith, Dodonov, Kotkaniemi, and then you're going to get a team. Yeah, your team will be chosen for you because Daniel's already got his team. So, all right, so we'll see who you end up with there. And in the meantime, Daniel gets to take, I guess still you need a defenseman. You only have Heiskanen and a forward for your last 2 picks.
Well, I'll be waiting to make my defenseman the last pick of the draft. Right now, I'm looking at, he might be on the third line, but when the third line has Sam Reinhart, it's never bad to have one of Reinhart's running mates, and I'll be taking Anton Lundell.
Yeah, nice pick. Lundell. I thought he had like breakout potential this season. It didn't really work out too much in fantasy. I drafted him in a lot of leagues, like my last pick. But yeah, he's a guy who I know a lot of people like really are super high on. He was taken 12th overall a few years back now, 3 years back, and he's had a solid enough playoffs. Like I said, playing on that third line, 7 points in 12 games. And so, yeah, not too bad for a final pick here, especially if you're so confident that Florida is going to be, because I don't think Florida's going to, I think if Florida wins, it's going to be a long series, but who knows? But yeah, definitely I can see that series going long. I can see both of them going long, to be honest. So yeah, Lundell's a good pick. And Tyler, that leaves it to you. And I guess you could take anything you want, except for a team. You take a forward, you take a D.
Probably, I don't know, maybe the youngest guy left. Well, definitely the youngest guy left, but Wyatt Johnson. Going all skill and upside.
Yes, yeah. Another high draft pick. Well, 23rd overall a couple years back. And Johnson just had that big goal, like I mentioned before, against Seattle. 5 shots in that final game. He's going to be a big part of the Stars team moving forward. Obviously with Dallas, it's like after that top line, it's just like a big group. And then Ben on the power play, step up here in the playoffs. Okay, and so that finishes off your team, Tyler. I'll read it off here. Hintz, Pavelski, Marchessault, Burns, Reinhart, Stevenson, Pietrangelo, Carolina. Do you like the makeup of your team?
Yeah, but I always say that after a draft, and it's not always correct. So I guess we'll have to find out in 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, well, hey, you had the first pick, so theoretically you had the top choice in each round, and you won the last 2 rounds. So I think it would be hard to bet against you. We'll see see how it turns out. Okay, Christian, so you're finishing things off now. Yeah. You need to take a team. So I guess you're either taking Vegas or you're taking Dallas.
Yeah, I kind of feel like all the series in this round are coin flips. So I knew I would only take my team goaltender with the last pick always going into the draft. And I look at Vegas and Dallas and I'm like, well, Ottinger's probably the best goalie of the teams. So I'm going to take Dallas.
Oh,
that's not really a prediction. That's not really a prediction, more as just kind of the tiebreak.
You're just being nice because you know that Dina's all in on Vegas. You wanted to let her have her rooting interest here. All right. So that leaves you, Christian. So let's read off your team here. So Matthew Tkachuk, Aho, Barkov, Natchez, Shea Theodore, Jamie Benn, Domi, Nason, Slavin, and then Dallas team goalies. How are you feeling about how this turned out?
I'm pretty happy. Like looking at this, I like just looking at these names. I like these names, but I picked them, so of course I like them. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I remember after I did my tier 1 draft this year for Cupful, I like looked at my team, I was like, I think it's pretty good. Then I was talking to one of my competitors. I think it was Tom. I talked to someone and they were like, your team, you're gonna have a lot of trouble this year. Like your team sucks. And I was like, oh really? And then I looked at it again and it was like, oh, like the bubble burst. It's like, oh yeah, my team sucks. Oh no. And that was before like where Renski and everyone got injured. But anyways, I'm not gonna whine about that. No one cares. All right, so Dina, we know where you're going. You have no choice, actually. I'm surprised Fantrax didn't just auto pick Vegas for you, but there's nowhere else you can go. But I guess you're happy. You said right from the start that Vegas is winning the whole thing.
I'm thrilled. I'm just like
over the moon here.
Yes, Christian may let me have it. But,
after sniping you those times, not letting you take Max Domi.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I feel like it's you know, the nice version of poetic justice. I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm very excited. I think my team is, yeah, it's like a nice dynamic duos. So I'm into it.
I know, Dina, you've dropped that take on me a lot of times. Do you think that they're like hockey players generally are like not attractive? So they're all ugly. Like looking at your teams, you can see that all these like happy faces so nicely here. How do you think your team looks aesthetically?
Okay, that's you know, ugly is a strong word. I did say it, but it's mean.
Who's the hunk? Who's the hunk of your team?
Like Declare, probably.
Good looking man. Okay.
Yeah. Declare's got it going on.
I think based on these pictures, I would have gone with Montour, I think. But anyway, good hair.
Very good hair. They all have good hair, actually, because they're all young, so they don't have time to go bald yet, except for, I don't know, a few of the olds.
Right. Yeah. Mark Stone's hairline isn't that great. He looks like, I don't know, it looks like it's starting to creep back a little bit, but okay. So Dina, good job. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And now we end with Daniel, who needs to take a defenseman. So I guess now we could just be all open, out in the open here. We could say like the top scoring defenseman left in the playoffs so far. We've got Thomas Harley, who Brian and I talked about on the last episode, that, you know, has really kind of broken down these playoffs. Pesci, Gustav Forsling, Radko Gudas. You could get Gosper.
Yeah, that's you named it. I feel like, you know, Gosper probably even he might be the most gifted offensively defenseman in the whole playoffs still, just based on pure offense, not anything else. And you know, Carolina really hides him and gives him great offensive zone time. Mm-hmm. So never a bad thing to take a guy that might explode offensively and win it, or he's just doesn't do anything. And then it's like a whatever pick with the last pick.
Yeah, like none of those defensemen who I said are like, I can't believe you're passing on Brett Pesci here. So yeah, Gosper, I mean, he probably had the most regular season points of everyone, right? Because he was so good on Arizona before they like, I traded for him in my dynasty league as Fantrax like claps for us that we finished the draft. Yeah, I traded for Gosper because he was having a good season and I was like, you know, going all in. And then that was around the time that Arizona decided to just, even though they still had him, they put Valimaki on the top power play. I was like really annoyed. Then he went to Carolina and totally disappeared. But whatever. I went anyways. I actually just traded him for David Perron. So see how that works out for me. Figured Gosper is going to probably get a long-term contract that I don't want to be saddled with. And Perron 1 year left, gets hits. Okay, so Daniel, so your team ends up as Robertson, Verhaeghe, Heiskanen, Bennett, Barbashev, Sagan, Carlson, Florida goalies, Lundell, and Shane Gostisbehere. How you feeling?
Oh, you know, as good as you can, picking fourth. always picking near the end players that I want to always go above them. But, that's why I felt the need to take some risks on some of the picks and hope for some big series from some of the more depth guys to make up for the fact that most of the top end players I wasn't getting my pick of. So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Just a hit or miss kind of thing. That's basically how I've gone through this entire thing, and it's worked so far. So,
yeah,
never a bad thing.
Yeah, with the KKPP, that even though you just need to advance, the higher you rank, the better picks you get in each subsequent round. But I think now that we're here in like this, late stage, probably it's a lot more like open. There's, especially without like McKinnon or like McDavid or Draisaitl. Like it seems like you got Jason Robertson with your first pick. No one's going to be shocked if Robertson ends up leading everyone. So it'll be fun to see how this all shakes out. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Daniel, Christian, Dina, Tyler. This is sounds like there's a fourth person, of course. Yeah. Yeah, this has been so fun. I think that people are going to enjoy listening to your reasoning behind these picks. And tweet at us at Keeping Karlsson if you have a hunch of who you think is going to win. Try to call it like Dina called Vegas, or like Daniel called Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe here. So Daniel, I assume you're picking Florida to win the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I like them. My team's out already, so.
Who's that?
Colorado.
Couldn't get by Seattle.
No.
Crazy stuff about
Nichushkin.
Nichushkin.
Landeskog. Which one do you want to pick there?
I was going to say Nichushkin. I just wonder if he'll even be back next year now. Like, I guess we don't really have many details about his
There's there's like the Colorado forums have like theories, and like they're pretty good ones. Like there's some people that are like connected to the team on like the HF board. And so like they've had some information out, but it's not like verified.
Okay, so I guess we won't spread.
Yeah.
We won't spread rumors. Dina, I was telling you about this like Nichushkin, this like hotel room that he was found in with like a woman. Yeah, it's a whole crazy thing. Anyway, I could just talk forever, obviously, about hockey. It's so fun. It's like you very knowledgeable people here. But yeah, I guess we'll end the show. But yeah, thanks again. So yeah, Christian, Tyler, Dina, Daniel, good luck. And we'll see about trying to do one of these for the finals too. Maybe we'll get one of you back. I guess only one of you, because only the winner is going to advance here. We're going to have 8 winners in the 8 rounds, and then we're going to have 4 divisions of 2. But then it's basically just going to be whoever gets the most points out of all 4 of those divisions. It's going to be the ultimate KKPP winner. We'll see if it's one of you 4. So congrats, good luck, and everyone enjoy the 3rd round of the playoffs. And as Brian would say, while you're enjoying the playoffs and having fun, watching some hockey, looking at a lot of gambling ads, make sure to try your best to remember that fantasy hockey is for everyone. See ya. All right, good show. No one joined us in the chat. Their loss, but maybe some people will watch the YouTube live after. Okay, yeah, I really appreciate it. And Tyler, in the end, your audio was great. Like all you had great audio, so
good.
That's always the thing I'm most nervous about when doing these shows with people.
Oh yeah. Well, glad it all worked out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If anyone watches the video, it's like Elon with like high energy and me just like yawning the whole time. It's like you wouldn't think that we come from the same household doing the same sort of tasks.
Yeah, well, you did get up in the middle of the night most nights to go feed the baby, so yeah, I think it's reasonable. But now we've got to go watch the rest of that Succession episode that you fell asleep in last night, about 10 minutes into. So
really
we
good.
Gotta go. So we gotta go. Hopefully, it's election day. All right, see you.
All right,
see you,
bye
everybody.
everyone. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.